Welcome. I wanted to share a little bit on an output on my recent camera rig. I got myself an E2S6, upgrading from my Fuji X-T3. I got one sitting over here, and I continue to use it for photography reasons and for probably flying on a gimbal. But I upgraded to the E2S6 because I wanted to get into kind of more of the cinema world, video-only focus. Now, one of the benefits of getting into the cinema world is with these cameras is that they use shutter angle. So rather than setting your shutter speed, you just set the angle you want. So the 180 rule, for example. So if I'm shooting 24 frames per second like I am now, the shutter speed is always locked at 48 frames per second. Those are things that are unique within the cinema world that's completely different from the photography world that I'm more used to. Things like lenses. I'm using these large, gigantic cinema lenses. Let's get one. This is the IRIX 150 millimeter T3. And so what's different in the cinema world is aperture is measured in T-stops as opposed to f-stop. It's a controlled measure of the amount of light that hits the sensor as opposed to the amount of light that goes through the lens itself. So knowing if you set it at a T4, consistent between different lenses, they're always going to have the same amount of light coming in. Cinema lenses are bigger, heavier. The control for focus breathing. So when you move the focus wheel and you're zooming in and out, or focusing in and out, the shape of the people that you're, or the object that you're filming stays consistent. With a photography lens, you'll see that shape get bigger and larger. So if I'm focusing on a cup, for example, you'll see that cup kind of expand and contract as you change your focus. With cinema lenses, a lot of that is controlled. Cinema lenses are large, so the equivalent of a photography lens will be much smaller. And the reason being is they try to keep consistent housing. So this is a 95 millimeter front. There's no threads or anything. There actually are threads for this design, but for the most part, that's less relevant because people are going to clamp on a matte box like I have here. And the aperture is controlled. It's declicked. And so as you're filming, you want to be able to move and control the aperture, change the iris in and out. And then the focus, what's different for me coming into the cinema world is the focus throw is huge. I don't know the exact amount for this one. It's close to like 200, 300 degrees. But essentially, you're going to go on forever and ever to rotate. The reason being is as you're racking focus, as you're changing that focus, you want to go slow. You want to have that consistent move. And create that pleasing look. In photography, that's less relevant. You want to get that focus as quick as possible. So you'll notice that people that are creating videos with photography lenses, the focus is going to jump like crazy in and out. The other thing I noticed is everything's manual. You know, in the cinema world, very little autofocus is used because we want to control everything within the cinema world. The difference I'm noticing so far is that all these cameras are designed to produce the best image possible. That's it, right? There's no trade-off for battery life, no trade-off for flip-out vlogging screens or anything. It's designed to get the best possible image. And with the E2S6, I can shoot up to 6K. So that's like a 23 megapixel image. So imagine with 24 frames per second, I'm capturing 24 pictures per second. And it goes on forever. File size is going to be huge, but you can actually pull out an image from this and save it like as if it's a camera, photography camera. These rigs are heavy. I rigged mine out and I brought it out for a practice run. And I think I'm going to have to do a little workout because it's incredibly heavy. What you're seeing here today is I'm using the Vazen 40 millimeter anamorphic lens. And with anamorphic, what happens is it squeezes the image. So it takes a wide image and it squeezes it down into the sensor. And so in post, I'm going to put this into the editing software and I'm going to stretch it out. And that gives you that long, wide cinema aspect. I'm doing a test. Just wanted to see how this is going to look and whether the background, whether it makes a difference between using a traditional, what's called a spherical lens, where the shape is in a sphere, versus an anamorphic where everything's squeezed in. Does it change? I don't think the average person is going to know. So I might not be able to tell, but you can feel it, right? You get the look that you get from watching a cinema movie versus a home video. That's part of the deal. So thanks for joining me along this journey. As I'm moving this channel into kind of the cinema world, I'm definitely going to be bringing aspects of old photography and all of my different interests, still into leather work and all that other stuff. The beauty of having a macro lens here is now I can get cinema quality product reviews or product zooms, and you'll see more of that soon. Thanks for watching.